Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Hawk Blogger Mornings. I am Brian Nemhauser. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Hawk Blogger, and we got a special show for you today. One of my favorite players, and I know a favorite of a lot of the folks that watch the show, is join us today. Give us a little insight about his offseason, his rookie season, and what's to come in his second year. You may know him. He is a player that made the all-rookie team, and he led all rookies in the NFL in special teams tackles. And he did that as a 6th-round pick. So he was given nothing. He earned it all. And welcome to the show, Jerrick Reed. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on. And what's going on in your world?
Nothing too much, man. Just focus on rehabbing, man. Getting back out there on that field, learning the playbook, getting close to my teammates, and just bonding with the whole team and my new coaches, the whole nine.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that's remarkable about your rookie season was you led all rookies in special teams tackles, despite the fact that you missed the last 6 games of the year due to injury. What a season, like what a year for you to go from being a 6th-round pick, finally getting drafted in the NFL, making the team, which is no guarantee, playing well that way, and then having that injury. Talk about the ups and the downs for you in last year.
It was a lot of ups. Just being in the league itself is a blessing. You're part of 1% of people that can say they've been into this league. So that's always a blessing, man. Just to represent the name on my back, represent my family, represent God who got me here. But just being in the league itself, just achieving a childhood dream, being able to play on that stage for Seattle Seahawks, one of the best defenses, best teams, best organizations there is in the league. Being able to wear them colors and go out there and make a lot of plays. And, it was fun all the way up until I got hurt. And when that moment happened, obviously that was like I hit rock bottom. I've never been hurt before in my life other than like hiccups, like playing football, ankle injuries, ankle sprains, stuff like that. But like having a major surgery, getting an incision on my knee, I've never had something like that happen to me. So that was a learning process for myself. I had to really home in on me. Um, really take my family was always there every step of the way, encouraging me, make sure I had that love and support that I needed to get back on the field. But like I think for me, injuries it makes you who you are. It's a test to yourself to see like, am I who I say I am? Am I really that strong? Can I come through on the other end better than I left? Like I left. So for me, I just been trying to home in on myself and just learn myself better and figure out what is it that I really want in this life. And honestly, I turned a terrible situation into a great situation, And like I said before, with the help of my family, my friends, the close people that I have in my circle, they helped me get back on my feet to where I'm at now, being able to run, jump, and get back to where I left off. I owe it all to them. So it's a lot of up and down, but I think it's all part of the journey. And every great player has went through a major injury, and the ones who come out on top are the ones that we hear about today, that the big names in this league all around.
You mentioned your family. You're from Mississippi, right? You're a Mississippi native.
They're a Southern boy.
So when you're going through this, your first injury experience, did you do your rehab back there? Did you stay around Seattle? How did that work out?
I had my surgery in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Cooper took care of me, him and Paul, his assistant. So I did most of my rehab out there. I had my surgery on December 5th, and I was out there up until the week we played the Steelers, and I stayed here up until the end of the year, and then I went back to Dallas until I had to report back OTAs. So I usually do all my rehab in Dallas at Built Ford. Shout out to Keisha, my PT, Kayvon, Jay, Chico, all them folks there, man. They took care of me, helped me get back on my feet, and that's usually where I be at during my off season and rehabbing and stuff.
How has that been for you, going through that experience for the first time, having to trust a doctor with your career, your livelihood, having to trust these people to walk you through rehabilitation you've never done before? What was that experience like? What is it like as you're still going through it?
It's a whole stressful thing, because like you said, you don't know who to go to. You don't know, like, obviously people are gonna recommend people like, oh yeah, I know this doctor, he's pretty good. I know this guy, he's pretty good. I know this PT, they're pretty good. So really, just like, man, you just working off faith. You know, you give it all to God. You lay up in your bed and now you pray to God, like, man, help me out, take care of me, make sure I'm making the right decisions, and therefore you just hope that, you know, in the end that you made the right decision. And so when it came to me finding my doctor, it was my training room here in Seattle. They helped me out. They gave me a list of candidates, and then my agent, he for me honestly helped me make the decision. And so I went to the doctor, Dr. Cooper, a well-renowned doctor, one of the best to do it. And so did the surgery. Everything came out great. Surgery went great. And then my PT, how I picked my PT was when I went to my pre-draft, I went to Built For It in Prosper, Texas. And so those guys there took care of me through my pre-draft, helped me get drafted. So I just trusted them to get me back on my feet when it came back for me, my ACL and recovering. And so that whole process, really, you just got to know people. You just got to know the right people who know the right people and just trust that they're giving you the right answers.
You mentioned you're now back in Seattle for OTAs. What does that look like for you when you're going through rehab? What do you participate in? What are you able to do? What aren't you able to do?
So nothing on the field. I really just be out there in my cleats jersey, just watching, learning, helping out where needed. My day consists of waking up 5:30 in the morning, getting up before my training room opens at 6:30. You know, hopping in the steam room, stretching out, getting warmed up before my PT, then knocking out PT for like an hour and a half before I have meetings or lift, either or. Go knock out the meetings, go knock out the lift, and then go to my next thing that I have for a day. And then once practice come around, if I have everything done with rehab, working out, etc., my conditioning, I go on the field, watch those guys go through it, grind, you know, go through their tackling circuits, their 7-on-7s, their individuals, and I'm just sitting there watching, you know. And it's hard, man. Anybody who's been hurt, anybody who's been sidelined knows the feeling of wanting to be out there but can't, you know. But it just makes you, like I said in the beginning, it just makes you really appreciate what you do have. It makes you hone back on, like, what do I really want in this life? Like, do I really want this? And once it's been taken away from you for a certain time period, you learn that, okay, yeah, I really do love doing this. I really do want to do this, you know. So it makes you appreciate it. So once you get it back again, you go harder for it. You know, you really appreciate it and you take advantage of your opportunity that you're blessed to have. So that's usually my day. We're done around lunch. I probably stay another hour or so, go do my rehab stuff again, like cold tub, hot tub, stretching out, cupping. I go to my Mueller, get a massage a couple times a week. So really just trying to take care of my body, even though I'm not doing a lot as like the other guys who are actively on the field running around. I still want to make sure that my body is used to getting that work done. So when I am back on that field, it's second nature.
Well, it's a lot of change for a lot of folks in the Seahawks organization. Obviously, Pete Carroll moves on. Mike McDonald and his crew come in. You've got a couple of vet safeties in your position group, and Jamal and Quandre have moved on. You got some new guys in. I'm curious, Jerrick, you know, what are your first impressions of the new coaching staff, of all the changes going on with the Seahawks?
Love him, man. Mike himself leading the way. Me and him chopped it up a lot. It was funny and I'm just giving him a hard time. When he first came in, he sat down at our table. It was me, him, Spoon, and Lance Boykins was all sitting at the table. And he was talking to Spoon. He was talking about how, like, he's still learning guys' names. There's a lot of people, yada, yada, yada. I said, yeah, coach, so what's my name? He stared at me and he was upset that he was like, oh, I don't know it. And from that day on, like, I told him my name. I was like, all right, I'm asking you again. And if you forget again, we can't be cool. You know what I'm saying? So ever since that day, man, me and him been locked in. He obviously knows my name now. And we just been going through that, helping me out, make sure he encouraged me. He called me after I had like a little hiccup. I had to get like a little scope on my knee. He called me right afterwards, made sure everything was good if I needed anything. So from him to AD to K Scott to Fitzy to Coach Harbaugh, the whole nine, man. All the coaches, they show a lot of love. They know what they're talking about when it comes to this coaching football stuff. They're teachers of the game. They don't just bark orders and blow whistles. They really teach us the game, teach us the in and out situation of football, everything that you need to know to be a great person on the field and a great team in general. And then once you see the things and success that they had on their teams this past year, you have no choice but to respect them and give them your all. You know what I'm saying? Until they prove themselves wrong, which I don't think that's going to happen. So I love the coaching staff. I think we made the right decisions of who we hired, and big shout out to John. But yeah.
Well, you got another Mississippi guy on the coaching staff. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to Leslie Frazier at all.
I'm already hip. I'm already hip. Me and Coach Frazier sat down because he's from Columbus, Mississippi, and he went to Alcorn. And so I have a pipeline of family members that went to Alcorn, Q Dogs, the whole nine. So my Uncle Cliff called me like, "Hey, you got Coach Frazier on your staff. You talked to him yet?" Like, "No, I haven't." He said, "Man, go talk to him. Tell him that, you know what I'm saying, you got Alcorn in your blood, yada, yada, yada." When I went to go tell him that, man, he lit up. He was so excited to hear that and just see that it's another Mississippi guy on this team. And he told me whenever like the season started, my family coming to town, he want to make sure that he introduced himself and meet them, just because like we're all from the same space, same place.
You came into the league out of New Mexico, and you, one of the things I remember about you from the draft conversations were played in a 3 safety system. You played a lot of hybrid. You also played some nickel, and that stood out. Like the Seahawks started to make this move towards hybrid players that can play multiple positions in the secondary. What do you consider your primary role? Like what's when someone uses you the best way possible, what do you think is the best way to use Jerrick Reed?
In the back end, in the safety. I'm a safety for sure. I like to see everything. I like to make the calls. I like to make the checks. Make sure everybody's doing what they got to do. I obviously make sure I'm on my P's and Q's as well. But it's just a lot better to see the game for the back. You get to see every play develop. You get to see the guards pull. You get to see the play actions, the RPOs. You get to see it all. It's easy. I've been down below. Like I played nickel before. Like I rotated down and up. And once you're close to the ball, you are more involved in pretty much every single play. But you have to process the game at a speed that most people can't. And yes, obviously I could do it, but it's just like if you had an option of seeing the game super fast or seeing the game slower and making better decisions, which decision would you take? I'd rather be in the back end playing safety, making a lot of plays, protecting everybody. If a play busts, if my corner get beat, I can go be over the top of them, help them out. So it's just like I like being playing safety.
What was something that you didn't expect when you got in the NFL? Something that might have surprised you compared to what you kind of thought the NFL would be like?
The mental test is the biggest piece that a lot of people don't talk about. You get, once you're like going through the whole process, people are talking about like your skill, make sure you're on your fast 40, jump high, bench a lot. You got to know the playbook. Yeah, all those things are very important. But the mental toll that it takes on your body from not being able to talk to your family a lot. Like you said, I'm from Mississippi and I'm in Pacific Northwest. The time difference is a big difference. So when I get out, like during the season last year, I'm getting home around like 7:30 p.m. It's 9:30 back at home. Like my mom got to go to work in the morning. My sister got to go to school. My brother got to go to work in the morning. Like it's hard for me to call them because I know they got to go sleep and prepare for their day tomorrow. So not talking to my family a lot. Not being able to do what you want to do, like as in like going out or exploring because you have to be locked in on this football thing. The mental toll it takes, and people don't talk about that much, but you have to, like I said, go through that. Everybody got their journey. You got to go through that and figure it out, make time management, write down your day beforehand. So like, okay, today Tuesday, what do I have tomorrow? Okay, I got to do X, Y, and Z. Make sure that you have all the time, your day thought out so that you don't miss anything. You don't forget this interview you got to do. You don't forget this show. You got to make sure that you're doing everything inside the building as far as like learning your playbook, taking care of your body, making sure that you're performing on a high level. But also once you clock out, okay, now it's my life. Like, what am I supposed to be doing today? So the mental piece of it is for sure a big piece that a lot of people don't talk about. And that was my biggest shock, and I had to go through that my rookie year.
I can imagine. I mean, everybody, even just leaving college to not play in the NFL, if someone moves somewhere, you're creating a new community. I'm curious, Have you found, your people on the Seahawks when you're on the road or when you're around Seattle, people that you found to be close friends?
So, it started off with my boy Spoon. You know, we came in together, got drafted together, both in the back end of the secondary, and just obviously like us being DBs, most DBs hang out with DBs. That's your first person you're gonna go to is like the other guys in my room. So for sure, just the group itself. Um, and I have my outside friends. Like I have friends from back at home who moved out here a while ago, and obviously we never thought that we would just be in the same city. But boom, life happens. We're both out here now, so I got those people to hang out with. If it's on the weekend, during the week, whenever, go get some food, whatever. Um, and then I got it's fans too. Like they tell you don't be too close to fans because you never know what happens. But
Yeah.
you can meet some good people who just genuinely care about you as a person, but also as a player too. And so those three categories of people for sure have helped me get around Seattle, learn the area, find new restaurants, make stuff to do when I'm not in the facility. So yeah, I got my circle of people out here that help me out.
I gotta ask you, you mentioned restaurants. Do you have a favorite place? Food's definitely different out here than Mississippi. So
You look way different. Nothing comparing to the South. Like you can't name a place in this country that's keeping up with the South. But Seattle has its own. They have their perks. It depends what you're trying to eat. Trying to eat steak, seafood, Mexican. I got them all. The
yeah,
best
well, give us a couple of your faves.
the best steakhouse, Melrose Grill, out here in Renton. Hands down, the best steak out here. You know what I'm saying? People like to go to Sin and El Gacho, the expensive bougie areas. Melrose right down the street, 4 minutes away. I go call it in right now, and they'll get it for me. Melrose Grill, their filet mignons, 100%. Seafood, you can go to Momoji, can't pronounce it.
One of those, yeah.
Momiji, however you want to pronounce it from seafood. I like Din Tai Fung.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that. I just tried that in Bellevue, and let me see, Mexican. You can go to Jaguar. It's a Jaguar Mexican place right here in Renton,
All
or
right.
Cactus and Kirkland. I want to say it's in Kirkland.
Yeah. Cactus is solid. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I'm a big food person, so I got the food for days.
I love it. And you hit on most of my favorites in terms of varieties of or genres of food, but not a seafood guy myself, but that's all right. So you talk about the DB room.
No,
And
we can't go skip past that. Where you from? From Seattle?
Jerrick, I'm like the weird guy that's from the Northwest, and I don't drink coffee, and I don't eat seafood.
Wow, like
Yeah.
you're not allergic, you just don't like it.
Nah, I fish. I'll pull them out of the water, but I give them to other people.
Eat it though, okay. No, you missing out, but to each his own for sure. What do you
I
like?
wish I would be a much healthier person if I would be able to eat seafood. I'll tell you that much. But what's that?
Like what kind of food?
Oh, Mexicans are the top. Italian, I love. But I mean, I could eat Mexican pretty much every day.
The Italian and Mexican spots, so I can try it out.
Well, Mexican wise, actually, there's a little place in downtown Bellevue called Cielo Cochina that I think is a pretty solid spot. And then Masa is a decent place in Issaquah if you're ever looking for someplace else. A couple decent places, but I mean the best for me is Matador. That place is I wouldn't recommend it for you because you got to stay healthy, but like their steak nachos are crazy, man. They're so good.
We got cheat days. We got cheat days for sure.
That's right.
Try
That's
that.
right. So you're talking about the guys in the DB room. Tell us a little bit about like what's that crew like? It's a young group, right? You got like a lot of young guys in that room coming up together. Like who's the joker? Who's the serious guy? Like what's it like in there?
I want you to know if you ever get the chance to sit in our DB rooms, from this year to last year to any year, like our DB room is the funniest room on the team, hands down, hands down. Everybody in that room is a jokester. Everybody's a jokester. Like today we're in there just laughing and joking. Like, yeah, we get our work done, but like, I mean, it's just the personality of our group. You know, you gotta have savvy DBs who like to have fun, who don't get too down and too serious. Like, I can't name you a serious guy in our group. Like, honestly, I can't. Like, once we're all together, we're all in there just having fun, enjoying each other. We'll go hang out, go bowl. Like, I got videos. We went bowling at Lucky Strike, I want to say like a week or two ago. Big competition. And it's like guys coming in the game bowling 150. The next game 180. And like, we really competing with it. Like, but we having fun. Like, it's always good vibes. So from top down, we're all jokes. We're all funny. It's always great vibes, and it just meshed well. Like, it's a lot of new faces. You know, you got Jinx, Kayvon. And then the rookies as well. Like, everybody, when you come into the room, it's not a room where you gotta come in here and be too cool, act hard. Nah, bro. Like, we all family. What's your name? Where school you from? Oh, you went to that school? Oh yeah, we beat y'all. I'm saying, like, it's off rip. As soon as I meet you, we going at it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always great vibes. Always.
You mentioned the rookies. Have you had a chance to meet those guys? Nehemiah Pritchett, DJ James, those guys yet from Auburn?
Met them all. Nehemiah, DJ, great guys, great kids. Like, I said kids like I'm old. Great guys for sure. You know, they teammates, so of course they stuck to each other like glue. You know, they go where you just go just to get to see you that way. I know you already. I don't gotta really meet too many more people. So them two always together. CJ from Fresno State, like I said, played him in New Mexico. I beat him once. The other times that he beat me, but like, I got one on you. So like, as soon as I met him, first thing I told him. You know what I'm saying? So just stuff like that, and it's just always gonna be that. I feel like they do a great job of like bringing in guys with great personalities, great vibes, not too big headed. You know, just guys who can just come in the room and instantly gel, instantly be one, instantly be together.
One of the things I noticed for you is, I mean, you talked about a couple times you mentioned whether this is what you want. Like, you had to like really think about that, especially going through the adversity that you've gone through. And I know you've got a construction management, or you were majoring in construction management, pre-engineering at one point. What's Jerrick Reed? Jerrick Reed, not the football player, outside of football? Like, what are the things you do? If you weren't a football player, what would you be?
You see that setup right there?
Uh-huh.
Gamer, man. I play the game a lot. If I could, I'd go be a pro gamer right now. Go FaZe. If y'all watching this, come pick your boy up. FaZe Reed, for real. I'll be a gamer. Like, I play Call of Duty, Warzone, Madden, the whole nine, FIFA. I'm just a gamer, man. I'm a foodie person. Like, I like to go out to eat a lot of food, try new places, travel the world. I just booked me and my family a trip to Cabo for the 4th of July, just so we can, you know what I'm saying, explore outside the States. So those are my three best things, like playing the game, eating different food, and traveling the world. Once I'm not in the building or solely focused on football, those are the things I'm for sure doing, 100%.
Anybody can keep up with you on the team on Call of Duty or any of those games? I take that as a no.
Man, yeah, we got the group chat. Hey, I'm on. Let's do the lobby and stuff. Everybody get no, like, I play the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, don't get me wrong, they are good too. You know what I'm saying? Like, me, Chenna, we be playing T-Dot, Spoon. Everybody good. They just not better than me. That's the whole thing. Everybody good though, in their own way.
What's your go-to game? If you had to beat somebody and you wanted to put your best out there, what's your go-to?
Call of Duty, Warzone. Easy, crazy, stick work, crazy, shooting, sliding, jumping. Yeah, Warzone, 100%.
Well, you got your streaming channel out yet?
Blue Optimo TTV on Twitch. Blue Optimo TTV. Yeah, Twitch gamer camera right there on the monitor too. I'm legit with it.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Do you ever game and stream with the blue ski mask on?
Nah, I don't. I need to look. I still got it. It's right here on this TV, right there hanging up, just chilling, just for the moment for me to put it on. You know, we go back to Detroit, so just know it's gonna be in my duffel bag So once we get that dub, secure that win, play a great game, we putting it right back on.
That's where I was going next. I mean, you guys have played. Well, you weren't there the first year. We played Detroit, 3 straight years. Played them last year. That was a big game for you. You not only, I remember talking about the ski mask, but you blew up the punt returner. Really big game, second game of your career. Uh, talk about that game and that day for you.
It was just one of those moments where, like I said before in previous interviews, like I understood my role. Like once they drafted me, I talked to all the coaches. They told me like, hey, we got our guys right now: Jamal, Diggs, J. Love. You know what I'm saying? You that fourth guy, and it's whenever your time comes, obviously be ready. But your role for us, especially teams, four guy. And for me, I took that and like, okay, cool, let's do it. I'm going to be the best special team player I can be. And so going into the Rams week 1, I didn't do anything that game. Like when you go, I watched that film with Coach Fitz, last week. I want to say Friday. We just watched like a lot of my special team reps, and I watched that Rams game, and like I really was like an average player. Like I didn't make no plays for real. I was getting locked up on Gunner, and I knew, okay, it's week 2. The Lions are hot right now. They just beat the Chiefs, the Super Bowl contenders, or Super Bowl champions the previous year. They just beat them, so they're coming into this game, sold out crowd, excited, ready to beat us. Hey, I gotta blow up. I gotta show out right now. Like this is the game, like a big stage. You gotta show out. You know what I'm saying? Or it's gonna be the opposite. You do bad and everybody see that. I can't have 2 back-to-back bad games. So going out there on Gunner, man, they singled me. And if anybody understands football and special teams, if you get singled at Gunner and you don't win, your job will not be there next game. Like that's just a common thing. Like one-on-one, you gotta win your matchups. So for me, they lined me up one-on-one with, honestly, I don't know who the guy was. Like no disrespect, I didn't know who he was. Boom, had my best release, beat him with speed. And at that time, I'm like, the returner Raymond, I'm like, you're not going for a catch. Like he sees me 5 yards from him and he didn't. So it's like, cool, I got to make this play. And once that happened, it was like, boom. Obviously, it was a great play, energy, teammates cheering me on, the chills there. But like, that's when I woke up and I knew like, yeah, I'm in the league now. And it just took off from there. I had 2 tackles that game on Gunner. It was a touchdown saving tackle, the next tackle I made. So it was just like, that was the moment I locked in. And obviously, my teammates did their jobs too to help me get that play, doing their jobs, winning their one-on-ones as well, and forcing the ball back to me. But like, that was the moment where everything took off.
I don't know if you know this, Jerrick, but you wouldn't be the first Seahawks secondary player to start on special teams and become great. Richard Sherman, people don't remember this, started out as a excellent gunner on special teams. Cam Chancellor made a name for himself his rookie season on special teams. You got a new special teams coach. Like, how do you go into that this year mindset in terms of special teams versus safety?
Same mindset. Regardless of what it is, it could be just me playing strictly gunner and nothing else. Like whatever I do on that field, like if you put me on that field, I gotta give you my best. Because like I said, if I don't, I won't be here. So it's really like you only got one option. And so going into this year, like I said, me and Fitz just sat down for an hour Friday and just went over film. And just it's always great because I said this in my interview on my 30th visit to Seattle pre-draft. They asked me like, why do you want to be in the league? And I told them, I said, y'all say that this is the best players, right, in the world. You think you're the best coach in the world, right? Of course, everybody in the room said, yeah. I said, exactly. I want to be coached by the best coaches. I want to play with the best players. And coming back and talking to Fitz, he's one of the best coaches in his league, and he's on our team now. So I wanted to pick his brain, see what he had to say about my game. He scouted against me. He showed me my scouting card when we played the Panthers. He showed me what he thought was good about me and what was bad. I take all of that personally, So, okay, cool. You thought I wasn't good with my hands. Oh, my feet was bad. Whatever it was, I'm going to work on that. So next time it won't be that. So just picking his brain, seeing what he had to say good, say what he got to say bad, and just going through that and just learning more. Because like you said, like, regardless of what special team or defense, you got to start somewhere and work your way up. And I'm just working my way up this year too for me. So I'm just learning more on the special team side, also more on the defensive side. Mike McDonald is a genius when it comes to that defensive stuff. He really is. I'm not just saying that. Like when you see how much success he has as a Ravens defensive coordinator, you can't just get it all to the players. Like he's calling those plays in those situations to put those players in the right place for them to make those plays. And so just picking his brain as well, just to write down those notes, so that when it is my time to step back on that field, like I took this break and got those mental reps, so that when I am live in action, it's easy. It's second nature. The game's slower. I understand what's going on. Why are we calling these plays during this time against this offensive formation? Like, so just really just taking that step of just learning the game. And that's how I'm stepping into this role right now.
How are you approaching, training camp's going to be around the corner. You're still rehabbing. You got to make sure you're right before you get, put yourself out there. How are you looking at that from a milestone perspective? How are you kind of thinking about the progression about from where you are to getting back on the field?
The very cliche saying, man, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I look at that in every aspect of my life, from becoming a rookie to now I'm in my second year. I thought rookie year was never going to end. It was so long, the long days, the rookie readiness meetings, the leaving at 7 p.m. every night. But here we are, year two, almost done with OTAs. So it's just like with my rehab, like like I said before, anybody who have had an injury or just ever been tweaked something, got hurt, like it's a process. Like one day you feel good, one day you feel bad, and it's gonna be those back and forth days until you're back healthy. Even then, you got to keep doing prehab so that doesn't happen again. So for me, like I just ran, I was running, like my rehab was going great, and I kept having a pain in my knee. Found out it was scar tissue. Got a little quick scope, and now my knee feels great. So I went from feeling bad to now I'm feeling great. Now I'm working my way back up. We just hopped on the Ultra G. Did my first time running since that scope surgery a couple weeks ago. First time running it was yesterday, I want to say. So like, boom, milestone right there. That's the first time I got back on the treadmill. The next time, probably like next week, we'll be on the field. So it's just taking it day by day, enjoying the process. Like I said, it's a journey. You can't rush it. You can't try to skip ahead because it can happen again. So it's just me just homing in on and focusing on other stuff and not trying to be in a rush of getting back on the field. Because regardless, I'm going to get back on that field. So like, why rush it?
All right, a couple more questions. I'll let you get back to it. I like to just know, are there players you think you want to give a shout out to on the Seahawks roster that you think are getting slept on a little bit outside of you, guys that you want to give some love to that you think fans should pay attention to?
D. Estridge, for sure. He had his bumps in the road during his career. Came out as a high draft pick, and we all know how his career been going right now. And so just being with him out there in Dallas this off season, I was in my apartment. And he stayed like right down the street, so I was literally hanging out with him a lot and just picking his brain, talking about his journey. He didn't. I want to say that he had a serious injury like me, but he went through stuff in his career that's what I'm saying, pretty much kept him off the field as well. So just picking his mind as an older guy, and just seeing like what's different from then and now. Like, what's your mindset now? Like, how are you trying to go? And just hearing what he's saying and just seeing how he took that and worked out and worked hard and focused on that, gave up stuff to take care of his kid and his family, and just become that man that he's supposed to be. So just seeing him go through that journey, and now seeing him how he's performing doing OTAs and doing these workouts that we have, I think he's going to be a key factor to us this year. Him, Lance Boykins, corner. You see that we're picking up a lot of corners right now. We're trying to just figure out who's going to be our guy this year. I think Lance Boykins going to be this is his chance to really show the coaches again that I deserve to be on the field. So Lance, let's see who else. Who else I want to say on the D line. Chenna. I mean, even though people know who Chenna is, but he had a injury that kept him out the season this past year. So just seeing him go through his rehab, we rehabbing together. You know what I'm saying? So him, T Dot coming back. When he first came over here, me and him both working out together because he's rehabbing right now as well. And just being that he was the backup for 4 or 5 years behind guys like Milano, and finally getting his shot last year once injuries happened, and he balled, and now he got his big contract. He got his prove it deal right now. All right, prove it. You know what I'm saying? So like just those guys for sure. And it's a lot of guys that I left out, but just those guys at the top of my mind, I think they're, you could say, being slept on, and has a lot of proof and will prove it this year.
All right, last question, Jerrick. if you said you're a food guy, one of my co-hosts on this show is obsessed with burgers, and he's specifically obsessed with burger chains. So it's kind of a two-part question. One, if you had to pick one place in Seattle to get a burger, where would it be?
Okay.
And then I'll let you know if there's a secondary depending on your answer.
All right. So I don't really eat burgers. Just throwing it out there. I don't eat burgers. I do eat red meat. It's like the healthy piece of it. Like I don't eat pork unless it's bacon, and I don't really eat ground beef unless it's in spaghetti. Like I don't really eat burgers for real. I really don't. So I'm not the best person to ask when it comes to burgers.
All right, that is a fair answer, and you're not the only one that's had that. All right, Jerrick, anything that I didn't ask you that you think people should know about you, the Seahawks, anything else that the people should know?
If you ever had a loved one or anybody close to you who's been incarcerated, drug addict, anything like that, and they need help getting off their feet, and you've experienced that or want to help towards that, my mom has started her nonprofit House Ophelia. She's getting that up and running right now. So once that's up and running and we're ready to take donations, it'll mean the world to me and to her because it's her nonprofit. I'm just here supporting it. If when that time comes, that the people of Seattle or whoever's listening support me, will help out with that.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, you let me know when you've got a website, a place to go for it. I'm happy to share it out, and we'll you probably don't know this, but this show, we've been going on here for a long time, and we've given over $260,000 to charity over the years. So charity is a big part of what we do here, and I would love to connect people to what your mom's doing.
Sure, I appreciate you for sure.
Yeah. Everybody, Jerrick, thank you so much for coming on, man. We are absolutely cheering for you. Looking forward to seeing you back on the field and seeing what you can do in this new system and in your second year in the league. So take care of yourself, and we'll look forward to seeing you back on the field.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Brian, for having me on the show. Can't wait for the next time we're doing this. And to the fans who tuned in, appreciate you guys. And hey, as we get the Super Bowl this year, baby.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That is Jerrick Reed. Thank you so much for joining. Absolutely one of the guys to cheer for on this roster, and a guy that I think just doesn't get as much attention as he deserves, and a guy that, it's funny, on the other hand, when you look around Seahawks Twitter, Seahawks fan base, one of the things you hear people say is don't forget Jerrick Reed, because this guy made an impression on people even as a rookie, even with most of his snaps coming on special teams. He's smart. He's physical, he's fast, and he made it from a 6th-round pick, which is not an easy thing to do. People don't understand this about the draft, but teams have a significantly higher level of commitment to the guys they draft early. And if you're drafted late, if there's an undrafted free agent shows out, then so be it. So for him to make it as a 6th-round pick solidly on the roster and then become part of Pro Football Writers of America's all-rookie team, despite the fact that he also got injured, this guy's got a ton of talent. He's got a ton to offer. And I think you heard it in that interview. This is a guy that he's not just blindly going through his NFL career. He's reflective. He's thinking about what this is going to mean to him. He's thinking about what it means to other people. He's thinking about what he has to do to get there. And I think the great news, you heard it here, back to running after a little bit of a setback in his rehab. And I'm fully expecting this guy, even if he starts the year on POP, whatever it is, this is a guy to watch out for. And I think this is a guy that is going to excel under Mike Macdonald. When you talk about a guy that the way he uses safeties, what he expects of safeties, this is a guy in Jerrick Reed that he can play safety. He can play nickel. He came in as a hybrid secondary player. And so having that kind of skill set just is a perfect match. And then you add to it, the guy's smart and driven. And I just really like his chances. The Seahawks have a history of defensive backs drafted a little bit later that have a big chip on their shoulder coming in and turning into not just starters, but some of the best players in the league. And I say, why not Jerrick Reed? Why not? So Really, really fun to have him on the show, especially just a couple weeks after having Trey Brown on the show. I think that DB room is full of guys that are, on the come and have a lot more to offer, and that a lot of folks just aren't really aware of yet. So looking forward to seeing what comes of that with Jerrick Reed. And I loved hearing about the DB room. I loved hearing his food takes. In fact, I feel like Evan's going to be a little bit upset to know that there's someone in the world that doesn't like burgers, but we'll have to break it to him gently, and probably help, because Jerrick seems like he has good taste in food and restaurants. And I'm almost sure he would not have picked In-N-Out as his favorite burger chain if he did have a burger chain that he liked. So yeah, I actually, as a guy who loves Mexican food, now I've got to look up this Jaguar place, because I've been to a lot of Mexican restaurants around this area, because frankly, the Mexican food in Seattle is not great. But if there's a place I haven't heard of that gets a shout, I got to give it a shot. So we'll look up that place, and also the steak place. Gonna have to check that out as well. So, I mean, you got everything you could have wanted out of that conversation. And really cool to hear about some of the guys he's shouting out. I love the Lance Boykin shout out. That's a guy that a lot of people are not as aware of. And then if you don't know who Tyrell Dodson is, who he's talking about, the new linebacker out from Buffalo. And this is a guy that similarly undrafted, kind of player who then had to make his way on special teams. And then with Matt Milano last year in Buffalo getting hurt, he got his chance. And Tyrell Dodson was the highest rated linebacker in the entire league over the final 8 weeks of the season when he got his chance. Those are the stories I love. So I'm not just a football fan because, I don't know, because I like the sport and I like the physicality. I mean, I love the gladiator side of it. I love the strategy. I love all that. But I love sports in general because you get to see these stories of people, you talk about 1%ers from an earnings perspective. These guys are fractional of percenters in terms of the life that they're getting a chance to lead, coming from where they've come to be in the league, let alone make it into the, onto the field, let alone having a sustained career. There's a ton of obstacles. So seeing guys like Tyrell Dodson, get out there, seeing guys like Jerrick Reed, I think that's something that's always, something I'll be attracted to, and as far as someone who wants to follow along and help tell those stories. And that's part of why, Doug Baldwin, Richard Sherman, those guys, Cam, when they first came in and being able to tell their stories before anyone knew what they were going to be, and getting to follow them along the way, it made that run all the more special, because they're truly special people as well, and have a lot to offer off the field, not just on it. And then he also mentioned D. Eskridge, which is cool because, look, Seahawks fans have this thing like D. Eskridge, any player that has a history of getting injured. I don't understand why that ends up being something that people get negative about. I know it's frustrating, but I have to tell you, it's way more frustrating for the player than it is for the fan. And you have to imagine D. Eskridge wants nothing more than to be on the field, proving to everybody why he was a second-round pick. Now, people connect D. Eskridge to me because, I was very strongly in favor of drafting Creed Humphrey. But even if you go back to the moment that D. Eskridge was drafted, I said I wasn't disappointed because of the player. D. Eskridge seemed like a good fit, good athlete. I was looking for somebody. I was looking for Creed Humphrey. The Seahawks needed a center at that point, and that was the guy I wanted. But there would be nobody happier, other than maybe D himself, for him to get out in the field and show this year every bit of talent that he's got and what he's capable of. I think that's something that every fan would be excited to see. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him finally get his chance to really stay on the field and have the impact that it's not just Jerrick that talks about him. I mean, you heard Geno Smith last year talk about D. Eskridge in the offseason. You've heard John Schneider talk about the personnel people. There's a lot of folks that see this guy as not just, hey, we want to keep him around because he's a decent player. They think he can be an impact player, a difference maker. And so I think that's something that very few, if any, Seahawks fans are counting on, given how much time he's missed due to injury. But I think that that's still something that's pretty cool to hear from Jerrick, that he still is someone who's jumping out to him. All right, folks. I think that for today, we're going to wrap there. We will go in tomorrow and start going through more of the better or worse scenarios for each of the position groups. We've already done safety, and I've already told you I think that this year's safety group is better than last year's. People know Quandre Diggs. They know Jamal Adams. They know those names. I'm telling you that this group that they've got this year is better than the group they had last year, and you're going to see that coming out in real time. And you're going to hear more about Kayvon Wallace. You're going to hear more about Rayshawn Jenkins. You're going to hear more about, hopefully, Jerrick Reed. So I'll be going through some other position groups, telling you whether I think that they're better or worse. We're also going to have our Real Hawk Talk episode tomorrow night. So we'll get the crew together. We'll talk it up. And hopefully we'll start getting some news out of OTAs, what's going on. There's videos getting posted. It's great to see the guys on the field. Hopefully we'll get some press conferences and hear from different players. This is the chance for the rookies and the vets to kind of come together for the first time on the field, and I'm sure there'll be some things to talk through. All right, folks, if you haven't already, please give the show a like, click subscribe. There is a link in chat and also in the description of the video to become a YouTube member. I mean, if you're not a YouTube member, I don't know why you wouldn't be. It is easy thing to do. It's a great way to support the show. And also you will get priority answers to your questions, to your comments. And all you got to do is click the link that's in the chat or in the description of the video. You can also find a link to patreon.com/hawkblogger in the description of the video. That is where, if you join there, not only do you get all of the audio versions of this podcast immediately after the show, but you also get access to the Slack channel where you can talk about Seahawks, Mariners, all that stuff continuously throughout the day. It's a great way to support. And this August is when I got word from John and Tracy Schneider that we will be having a chance to give our donation this year. I'd love it to be the biggest donation we've ever made. So great way to help make that happen is to become either a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter or both. Frankly, I think both is the best answer. But if nothing else, give the show a like and click subscribe. That helps us grow. And follow us over on Instagram. Trying to grow that channel, just starting out there, but probably the last person on the planet to start out on Instagram. But yeah, give us a follow there as well. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. I'm Brian Nemhauser. You can find me on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram @HawkBlogger. And this has been another episode of Hawk Blogger Mornings. Take care.